Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're diving into the world of Spanish real estate. I gotta say, there's some pretty interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, it's a really interesting approach. It's not just about, buying a property in Spain. It's really like a whole money mindset shift.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So they start off strong right off the bat, talking about financial freedom, which, okay, pretty universal goal. But what makes the Spanish approach different here?
Well, they really hone in on real estate as like the path to that freedom. You familiar with the 4% rule?
Oh yeah, the idea of living off a small percentage of your investments, right?
Exactly. So they tie that directly to Spanish real estate, even suggest some tweaks based on the local cost of living there. It's about building that nest egg through property.
Makes sense. Everybody needs a place to live, right?
Right.
But they don't
Yeah.
just sort of like throw you to the wolves. They actually break down some financial concepts too.
Yeah.
I saw a section about PER and RCE, which, let's be honest, sounds a little like alphabet soup to some people.
Yeah, it can seem that way, but honestly, these are important whether you're buying a flat in Barcelona or Apple stock.
Okay, so universal investing language.
Exactly.
All right, so break down PER for us. What is that?
Sure. So PER, it's price to earnings ratio. Think of it like this. Let's say you find this amazing flat costs 200,000 euro. You're going to earn, let's say, 10,000 euro from rent. So that's a PER of 20.
Okay, because it would take 20 years of that rent to get back to that purchase price.
Exactly, you got it. So lower PER, theoretically, you're getting your money back faster.
Okay, makes sense. So what about ROCE then?
So ROCE is return on capital employed. This one tells you how efficiently your money is actually working for you. So imagine that same 200,000 flat, you only put down, say, $50,000. If you're making, let's say, 8,000 in profit that year, your ROCE is a pretty good 16%.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's about maximizing that return, making that money work hard for you.
Exactly. This guide is all about that. Smart investing. Not just making money, there's a difference.
I'm sensing a theme here. They want you to be financially savvy. But let's get into some of the real estate, like nitty-gritty. They had a whole section on reforma con cambio de uso, which basically means like flipping commercial properties into residential.
Yeah, that's a super smart strategy, especially in Spain's bigger cities where everybody wants to live and housing is in high demand.
Right.
So, imagine transforming an old office into these trendy little apartments. Higher rental income, probably going to be worth more if you sell it down the line. They actually gave a specific example, turned a $50,000 office into an apartment worth $110,000.
Whoa, wait, okay. How much did they put into it?
They only put in about $24,500 for the renovation.
Okay, that is serious ROI. That's incredible.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's about seeing those opportunities where you can add value.
It's like real estate alchemy,
Mm.
turning like boring offices into gold mines.
Right. And speaking of opportunities, they also talked about these inmuebles de stock bancario.
Which are like bank-owned properties, right? I'm guessing these aren't your average listing. What makes them so special? So we're talking about bank-owned properties in Spain. I've heard whispers about these being real estate gold mines. What makes them so special?
Well, okay, so think of it this way. Banks, they're not in the business of holding on to property, right?
Right, they want to get that stuff off their books.
Exactly. They want to offload these inmuebles de stock bancario quickly, which means they're often willing to make you a better deal, more favorable financing and all that.
So potentially better deals than I'd find if I was just like browsing the open market.
Absolutely, yeah. You could snag a real bargain. And this is where that ROCE we talked about comes in.
Right, making that money work hard.
Exactly. The guide even mentioned leveraging up to 90, even 100% financing in some cases.
Whoa, wait, really? 100% financing?
Yeah, in certain situations, it's all about finding those sweet spots. Imagine the returns if you're putting down very little of your own cash up front.
Okay, that's like next level investing. I'm starting to see why this guide was so intriguing.
Yeah.
But they had this other strategy that honestly almost made my head spin. Talking about profiting from properties.
Yeah.
Without actually owning them? How is that even possible?
Yeah, that's the contrato de reserva de compra y posterior explotación. It's a mouthful, I know.
It is.
But it's a pretty cool concept. Basically, you're partnering up with the owner. They have the property, but maybe they don't have the capital or the know-how to, like, renovate it or manage it effectively.
Okay, so I'm picturing, like, I find this, I don't know, maybe slightly run-down place. I come in, I fix it up, find tenants, manage everything, and then I split the profits with the owner.
Exactly. You got it. It's a win-win. You get experience, build your portfolio, get that income stream, all without having to cough up the full purchase price up front. And the owner, they get their property improved and making the money hassle-free.
It's like the perfect real estate marriage. You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the less glamorous side of international real estate,
Yeah.
the legal stuff. What does the guide say about, like, navigating Spanish laws, taxes, all that jazz?
It's not as daunting as you might think. The guide actually does a good job breaking down the essentials, property taxes, rental laws, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, good to know.
Nice, yeah.
Were there any, like, surprising quirks about the Spanish system that our listeners should know about?
Well, one thing that stands out is this tax they have on the increase in urban land value. It's called plusvalia municipal.
Okay, so how does that one work?
It's based on how much the land value has gone up over time, not even necessarily tied to, like, if you made a profit from selling or not.
So even if I didn't, like, make a killing on the sale, I could still owe some taxes just because the land itself is worth more.
Potentially, yeah. It's definitely something to be aware of, which is why, having a good lawyer on your side is key.
Right, because navigating a whole new country's tax system, not exactly my idea of a good time.
Right, right. And the guide really emphasized that, building a team of experts, not just lawyers either. They mentioned these personal shoppers who actually help you find properties.
Well, like a real estate agent, but, like, way more personalized.
Exactly. And of course, having a good API that's a licensed real estate agent in Spain is crucial.
Yeah, because going it alone in a new market, that's asking for a headache.
Definitely not recommended, especially when you're dealing with something as important as real estate.
Speaking of different approaches, the guide also mentioned these crowdfunding platforms, like Housers. What's your take on those? Are they legit, or are they too good to be true?
Crowdfunding for real estate, I'll be honest, feels very, I don't know, 21st century, but also a little Wild West to me. What did the Spanish guide have to say about approaching those platforms?
Well, they're definitely gaining popularity, especially for people who maybe don't have, tons of cash up front, but want to get a foot in the door, diversify with some smaller investment.
Yeah, it feels a lot more accessible than, like, going all in on a whole property. Right, exactly. Housers was the specific platform they mentioned in the guide, but they really emphasize that, like any investment, you got to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Actually research the platform, look at the project financials, all that good stuff. It's not just like clicking invest and watching the money roll in.
No get-rich-quick schemes here,
Yeah.
which honestly is refreshing to hear.
Yeah, for sure. They even gave some good tips for, like, really making sure you're protected as an investor. Like, they said checking to see if the developer's dividends are restricted during the project. That can be a red flag.
Oh, interesting. I never would have thought of that.
Well,
Okay, so it's those little details that can make all the difference. So before we release our listeners into the world of Spanish real estate, any, like, final words of wisdom from this guide?
I think the biggest thing that's stressed over and over was just knowledge is power. They really hammered that home.
Love it. Never goes out of style.
Right. And they even included, like, a bunch of free resources to help with that. Decision trees to help you analyze potential deals, and a whole glossary so you don't get lost in translation when you're talking to Spanish real estate agents.
Music to my ears.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for a good glossary.
Always helpful, right?
It's amazing how much we've unpacked from, like, just these little excerpts. This Spanish real estate guide sounds like a goldmine.
It really is. It's a good reminder that no matter how much you think you know, there's always more to learn, especially in a market as, like, fast-paced and ever-changing as real estate.
For sure. For sure. Well, on that note, for all our listeners out there, maybe daydreaming about owning a Spanish villa, we'll leave you with one final thought from the guide, something to kind of ponder. They pose this question: is it always better to buy a property outright? Or can strategic financing, like those bank deals we talked about, actually be the smarter move?
Big question.
Right. There's no one right answer. It really depends on your individual goals, your risk tolerance, all that.
Yep.
But hey, that's what makes real estate so exciting, right?
Keeps things interesting.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Spanish real estate. Until next time, happy investing.